We're here today with the author of Macaque Makes Music and It's a Different Kind of Christmas, Dr. Mella Davis. Um,
Hello.
Hi. I've just got a couple of questions for you with regards to your books. The first one is, has it always been your dream to become a children's book author?
Actually, no. I began as a poet.
Oh,
And
wow.
yes, I'm actually a published poet. And I didn't start fiction writing until my final year in college. And my then professor, Roger Platisky, introduced me to a Latina poet, Dr. Luzma Umpiere. And from there, I started making connections with different fiction writers, people that she knew. And then I got introduced to the Bread Loaf Writers Conference and actually went there in fiction writing and received some training from Valerie Miner. And that's how my fiction grew.
Oh,
So
wow, that's
I
quite
think
a story, quite a
yeah, it,
journey.
it was. It was pretty funny because everybody thought, well, if you're going to be accepted, you're going to be accepted with your poetry. But I was
Yes.
actually accepted with my fiction.
Wow.
And at that time, there were various poets who were still there. I still performed my poetry. I remember meeting Cornelius Eddy, and a lot of big name people were there. I studied with Pablo Medina at that time and Aminet Ansay. So that's how I got into fiction, but it had nothing to do with children's fiction.
Oh, wow.
And then I actually stopped writing for a while. I just wrote for myself. And in 2019, an artist came to work with the ministry that I established, the not for profit Teachers of the Nations. And she made this cat bento box. And I looked at it and I said, I'm really not that fond of cats in the real world. I said, but if you make me a monkey, I think I can write a book.
Oh, wow.
And so I started off with writing these books about Macaque, the monkey, and then put the cat into it. And the cat was really cute. So I said, okay,
Yeah,
fine.
yeah. I was gonna say,
You know,
like, for someone who doesn't like cats, there's an awful lot of cats
there
in your
are a lot of
story.
cats, but my cats are well behaved and civilized. So, that started the whole series, and it was really a God thing because as I was writing it, I was writing parts of it, and the story was really coming alive. And I felt like God said to me, I know He said to me, I want to use this series to bring healing to children. So I'd never
Wow.
written a children's piece outside of a small story. I'd written a few things, but these are real novels.
Yeah.
These are, 60 to 80 pages and stories that carry on. It's a whole series. I'd never done anything like that. And when I did the first book, I let my sister read it, and she's older than I am, and she was laughing hysterically.
Oh, wow.
And so about Cine Gugu's antics and,
Yeah.
Halita and their interaction. And I thought, well, if it can make an adult laugh, then it should really charm the hearts of children.
Definitely.
So I began going and doing small readings at homeschooling events in the United States. And I was surprised that a 3-year-old could follow because it's not simple language, as you know.
Yes.
But the heart of the story they could follow. And this one little 3-year-old came to me afterwards and he says, but what happens to Macaque?
Oh.
And I was like, oh my goodness, this
Yeah.
is really
Oh,
touching and touches a place where the children really connect with him and they are concerned about his well-being and welfare. And so I said, okay, no, God, we're on to something. And then once I began writing, I just continued in that vein. And the interesting thing is that there has been a shift. In my writing because my sister told me about a competition. Lee and Low publishes new authors. I was published in poetry but not in children's fiction. So I wanted to enter into this competition. And then I read the guidelines. You can only enter if your characters are human.
Oh.
Not animals. So I couldn't use any of the Macaque books, and I had to write a completely different series, which is now
Wow.
4 books. And this is based on, you did one of the pictures for me, is based on a little African-American girl named Bella
Okay.
who discovers a family quilt
Yeah.
And then her mother says, well, let me tell you about what each of these blocks in this quilt means. Well, that ended up turning into a 4-book series. So now, technically, I guess I am a children's author.
You're one now.
I am one now.